You're listening to the Creator Life That Is Beautiful podcast. I'm your host, Leticia Ringe, and this is episode number 40. Hello, welcome to episode 40 on the Creator Life That Is Beautiful podcast. I mean, I can't believe that we're already here. I started the podcast in January of this year, so January 2018 for anyone listening in the future. And I think that's quite special because today's episode is going to be all about what purpose is, but also, and most importantly, to let you know about my newest project that I have been working on that I have designed especially for you, especially for you listeners of the podcast, because this podcast is all about finding and showing up for your purpose. So I now have begun a new project, which is a private space for all of you in this beautiful community who want to make a meaningful difference in the world, doing something that you love, and you want to find and show up for your purpose. So now we have a private Facebook community where you can hang out and enjoy the company of other like-hearted people who also want to make a meaningful difference in the world, who also want to make sure they're living in alignment with their purpose, and who also want to make sure that they are showing up in the best way possible for their purpose. So this is for you and for me. I cannot wait to have this beautiful community of us all, and it's already beginning to grow. So if this sounds like fun to you, then please come and join us. It's called Make a Difference Soul Tribe, and you can find all of the details at leticiaringe.com/make a difference. Some of the things that you will get that I can talk to you about right now include free live trainings on topics like finding and showing up for your purpose, sharing your message, starting your conscious, heart-centered business, overcoming creative blocks, accessing your intuition, and so much more. Plus, you'll also have access to live coaching and Q&As with me, and you'll be able to use this space as a safe space to share your message and to connect with other like-hearted people and build some beautiful collaborations and friendships. Now, all of this is offered to you for free, so there is no charge at all. It's just a space where we can all learn, connect, and expand together. So if this sounds like something that you really want to join, again, go to leticiaringe.com/make a difference. And for our first live training, I will be running that on the 12th of November. So in 1 week's time, as this airs, it will be Monday, the 5th of November. So in 1 week time, on Monday, the 12th of November, I will be running a 5-day Find Your Purpose challenge, where I will be giving you 5 powerful trainings to give you more clarity and direction when it comes to both finding and showing up for your purpose. So if this sounds like something you could use, then please join us in the Make a Difference Soul Tribe, and also head over to leticiaringe.com/find your purpose challenge to sign up for the challenge itself. It will take place within the Facebook group. However, it's still good for you to sign up to the challenge itself, because you'll get specific emails that will let you know exactly what we're covering and also let you know when we're going live. So you have all of the information there for you. I am so excited to do this challenge. It's something that I've wanted to do for some time, but I didn't feel like it was the right time, and now it is, and I feel like it's just the perfect time for it to happen. So I'm so excited to run this. I'm so excited for people to get some more guidance on what living in alignment with their purpose is and looks like, and to start taking some, beautiful, inspired action towards making the difference that you truly desire. Now, in addition to this, there will be a challenge so that you can participate in to win 2 different giveaway prizes. So 2 people are going to win. The first is going to be a one-to-one strategic coaching session with me. And the second one I will be revealing in our challenge or during our challenge. And it's very significant. I can't wait to share it with you. And it's something that you'll definitely want if you're doing this challenge. So I can't wait for you to take part in that and for us all to get to know one another. Now, if you know anyone who you think might be interested in joining, then please make sure you share this with them or share the details with them. This is something that I really want anyone who wants to find and show up for their purpose, because the biggest thing that stops us from finding and showing up with our purpose can be ourselves, or actually is ourselves. So when we have a community that allows us to, it gives us accountability to other people, a place where we are actually, showing up as our better selves. This is really, really powerful and important. So please share it with anyone who you think might be able to find any benefit from this community, and I cannot wait to see you over there. Okay, so why does this make it really special that today, for our 40th episode, we're talking about what is purpose? Well, it's important because I feel like this has come full circle, and it's the perfect time to also be announcing the Make a Difference Soul Tribe and also the 5-Day Find Your Purpose Challenge, because when I began the podcast, as you will know if you've been a long-time listener, I started the podcast to help other people short circuit their own find your purpose and show up for your purpose journey. And this came from my own journey of 10 years of trying to figure out what my purpose was, and then through all of that, not actually living in alignment with it. So I really wanted to share with you powerful lessons and also interviews with people, so stories about how other people found their purpose, so that would help you in finding yours. And now, of course, with a concept as huge as purpose, it means that over the last 10 months, my own understanding of purpose has evolved. And so today I want to share with you what I feel purpose means to me today on the 5th of November when this episode airs, and see what resonates for you. As always, only take what resonates for you and leave the rest. So today's episode is all about what does purpose mean to me. And let me begin with a definition. So the definition of purpose, according to the Oxford dictionaries, is the reason for which something is done or created, or for which something exists. Now, I think that this is really interesting and also beautiful that they use the word created. That's really lovely. But when we're talking about our purpose, we're talking about the reason for which we exist, the reason for which we were created. Now, this is where it all gets a bit tricky and wishy-washy. So when we talk about our own life and we talk about purpose, finding my life's purpose, finding my life's work or soul's calling, and we're talking about purpose, we're really talking about the reason that we are here. Why was I created? Why am I here? Why do I exist? What is the reason for it? Now, this is a much bigger philosophical question, but if we also have a look at the synonyms for purpose, this gives us an interesting way to look at purpose, and also to understand why we might be confused about what it means. So I just want to go through some of the synonyms here. So one of them is intention. And now I think that's really helpful, purpose and intention, but still they are different. So our purpose for being here, our purpose, our sense of purpose is really, to me, something that we feel. We feel a sense of purpose. So purpose might be the reason why we're here, but in my opinion, it's all coming from how our heart feels about it, rather than through some sense of logic. So intention is interesting because whenever I use the word intention, which I love to do, I think of intention as being feeling based as well. Now, where the confusion lies is if you look at the other synonyms, we get things like ambition, aspiration, function, objective, plan, project, target, and goal. Now, I think that this is interesting because if you've heard me speak about this before, there is, in my opinion, a difference between a goal and an intention. Now, our goal is where we want to get to. So it's the outcome we're trying to seek. It is the destination. The intention is how we want that journey to go. So our intention is present moment focused and it's anchored in feeling. Now we can of course make feeling based goals, which I encourage that you do that because it makes them a lot easier to manifest because we're connecting to the feelings associated with where we want to go. And if you follow any form of manifestation process, they always talk about feeling the way you would feel as if you had the thing it is that you want in your life or the experience you want in your life. And this is because the feeling is what's important. It's what we can actually have control over in the present moment, and it's making us it's putting us in alignment rather to what we want to call in so that we're a match for it. So when you think about, for instance, a relationship, which I like to use as an example because many people know what it's like to be trying to attract someone into your life, if you are not a match for the person that you want, you will not find them. So if you want someone to fill you up because you don't think that you are worthy or that you're good enough, and so you want someone who's going to give you that because you can't give it for yourself, you're going to find that you attract someone who is, well, for starters, it'll be difficult to attract someone who has that, or you'll attract someone but you'll never ever feel whole yourself because what the real issue is that you need to work on yourself first and foremost. So it's always feelings. I love this about intentions because we're talking about what is in the present moment. What is your intention for the goal? Like, what do you want the journey to be like? How do you want to feel during that journey of obtaining the goal? Now, I'm just explaining what an intention is because obviously with intention, we can only control our present moment, and with the goal, we've got almost no control over it because the goal is something in the future. There's nothing in the present moment we can do other than trying to become a match with the way that we feel to call this into our life. So with an intention, it's something we intend to create. Now, when it comes to purpose, our purpose is the reason for which something is done or created or for which something exists. This is, why is this here? And so can you see how this is different to an intention? An intention is the way we intend to do something, the way we intend to create something, but the purpose is why it was created in the first place. So I love that we have words as synonyms such as intention. There's also the word desire, and we can think about our soul's desire. But when I think that most of these synonyms are actually quite they're not useful for when it comes to thinking about your purpose in life, because they actually mean different things. And when you look at these synonyms, you'll also notice that a lot of them are actually very masculine. So ambition, aspiration, function, objective, plan, project, target, goal, these are all very masculine words. Now, intention is more of a feminine word because it's feeling based. And as I said, we can also make our goals feeling based, so we can make them more of a balance between a masculine and feminine, which is, in my opinion, where we always want to be anyway. So I feel that we look at this, it's a trouble when the definitions have been created through a specific lens that is, very masculine, and then we've got people telling us what these words mean and what they relate to and what other words mean the same thing, but they don't. Or we're using words that don't have more of a balanced perspective. Like, for instance, feelings and feminine energy, as you will have heard me speak about on this podcast if you are a long-time listener. If not, I invite you to go back to, episode number 25, episode number 24. We talk a lot about feminine energy there. Our feminine energy is about feelings and emotions. It's about intuition and creativity and looking inwards. And these are not qualities that have been valued in our world. We have been more focused on logic and action and looking outwards and intellect, and not looking at things like body intelligence and emotional intelligence. So when we have these definitions of words, they often have this very masculine focus as well. And I think that this is what throws people off for many, many terms. But when we talk about something like, what is my life purpose? The definition, the reason for which something is done or created or for which something exists, we're not going to get that through logic, because it's something that is about a sense of purpose. It is something that only we can answer individually. What brings you a sense of purpose? It's like asking what brings you happiness, what brings you fulfillment, what brings you satisfaction, what brings you meaning. Well, that answer isn't going to be the same for everyone. That answer is going to be potentially different for everyone, because it is a feeling. And yet, we all know and can relate to feelings like happiness and fulfillment and satisfaction and feeling that sense of meaning. So although it's something that can be different for potentially everyone, there is also similarities. But it is about our inner experience, and so it is subjective. There are a lot of variations of it. Whereas when we talk or we look through it in a masculine lens, which wants to define it and put it into a category and, have a beautiful marker on it and, okay, everyone, this is what purpose is. And it's the same thing for everyone. That's not going to work. Now, in its function, purpose can be useful in a very masculine way, because purpose gives us boundaries to work with. Purpose gives us a sense of direction. If we know what our purpose is, if we know why we're here, then that means that it will make things like making decisions easier, because we will know, okay, this isn't supporting my purpose, but this is. So that then allows us to make boundaries. And to know where we're going. It's like knowing where the destination is. So we can look at purpose in this very masculine and feminine way. As always, with anything that I'm talking about, we want to find somewhere in the middle. So I'm talking about finding a sense of purpose, and what does that mean for you? Now, what we can do is draw from what other people's experience tells us purpose is, and then look within ourselves to figure out whether that resonates for us. So this is why I say, with anything in this episode and every single episode of my podcast and anyone else's that you ever listen to, or any other thing that you read, we're always consulting our own inner authority first and foremost. So you take what resonates and you leave the rest. Maybe you come back to it later on. Who knows? This is what's happened for me. Sometimes I've looked at things, it hasn't resonated, and then I've come back to it later on when I've had different life experiences and it's just completely blown my mind. So use your own inner authority. If it makes sense to you, roll with that. If it doesn't, just leave it, park it to the side. It doesn't mean it has to discredit what's been said. It just means that you are letting your own inner being or inner voice or wisdom guide you first and foremost to decide what is right for you, what is your next best step for you. So, a sense of purpose has often been associated with Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Now, if you don't know who Maslow is, it's Abraham Maslow. He was a psychologist and a humanist, and he had this theory called his hierarchy of needs, which spoke about the different levels of needs of humans. And at the very top of that was what he called self-actualization. So we were working towards these towards these 5 needs so that we could achieve self-actualization. Now, the final level was all about this being, the essence of who we are, which is so hilarious because this is all about feminine energy yet again. I mean, I can just see it in, give me a situation, I'll be able to bring it back to masculine and feminine energy. It is so fun and exciting to explore this from these angles. So this part of this being energy that Maslow talks about, he spoke about there being this creativity, self-growth, fulfillment, fulfilling one's potential, this having this sense of meaning or finding a sense of meaning. He also spoke about, and this is words from his book, Motivation and Personality, self-actualized people have purpose and, quote, they have some mission in life, some task to fulfill, some problem outside themselves which enlists much of their energy. This is not necessarily a task that they would prefer or choose for themselves. It may be a task that they feel is their responsibility, duty, or obligation. In general, these tasks are non-personal or unselfish, concerned rather with the good of mankind. I've got a problem with that. In general. End of quote. Okay. So Maslow is someone who is often quoted when we talk about purpose because of this link to self-actualization. It is, we are trying to figure out what our reason for being here is. And this is like the greatest sense of purpose for everyone, is figuring out what that is. Now, he talks about feeling responsibility, duty, or obligation, having a mission in life, trying to solve a problem or having some problem outside of themselves to work towards solving. Now, and he also talks about not choosing your purpose. So I think that this is important because, and also that this is something that we achieve once we get to this final stage of the hierarchy of needs, which is all about being, because being is feminine energy. That is what feminine energy is. If masculine energy is action, feminine energy is being. That is what it all is cultivated from. That's the essence of feminine energy, is this being energy. And so this is a more passive energy. It's something that we're looking inwards to get, and we're receiving as well. So when he talks about we don't choose what our purpose is, I agree with this because it is something that we receive. So we can logic our mind and think, okay, I'm going to figure out what my purpose is. I'm going to decide what my purpose is. But that is where everyone goes wrong, because our purpose is something that we receive, and it's a feeling. So I would like to argue, receive our feelings. And I also like to think that these feelings are coming from our inner being, letting us know when we're on the right path and when we're not on the right path. So we use these feelings to also help us live in alignment with what our purpose is, which is why, in my opinion, the best way to find a sense of purpose is to follow what you love, what you enjoy, and what you are inspired by. Which, if you've been listening to this podcast for a long time, you'll know that this is really what I believe is creating a life that is beautiful is all about. If we all follow what we love, follow what we enjoy, and follow what we're inspired by, the world would be a much happier place. And I believe this is what leads us to living in alignment with our purpose. But it is present moment focus. Our sense of purpose can change and evolve. So we need to be thinking in this moment, what is my purpose? What is my purpose right now? And to find that, to be following right now, what lights you up? What is bringing you joy? What feels like fun to you right now? What you're inspired to do or create right now? That will lead you to finding purpose, or that will lead you to living in alignment with your purpose. So there is this no great outcome that we're trying to find. It's not like I find my purpose and then that's it. It's about living in alignment with your purpose because it is a present moment, ever evolving process that we live in. And I like to see it as almost similar to this concept of alignment. We know when things don't feel good, when they're not flowing for us, when they feel wrong. So we know we're not on the right track. We know when we feel out of balance, like our center is out of whack. Just like we were speaking about a couple of episodes again when we spoke about what balance actually means. So our sense of purpose is almost like this equilibrium. Are we actually living in alignment with our true self, the essence of who we are, where we want to go? And we know that because we feel this really deep sense of sadness when we're not living in alignment with that. We might feel depressed, frustrated, angry, bitter, resentful, because it's our body's way of showing us that something is out of whack, that we need to change course, that we need to go somewhere else. So our sense of purpose, if our sense of purpose is really about a feeling, and our feelings are something that we receive, just like our purpose, then it means that we're using the language of the mind to interpret what our purpose is. But our purpose is something we feel, just like our emotions. It's something that comes from our heart rather than our mind, which is why it's so difficult to explain through the mind what our purpose actually is or what it means to us, because it is subjective. It really is this part, but a very big focus on feminine energy, about this being, and it's something we receive. So this is the problem, using the mind to figure out what our purpose is, to find our purpose, to explain what our purpose is, and to lock ourselves into some definite or finite definition of what our purpose is as well. So it's something that we feel, this sense of purpose. And many people have connected it as well with their work, that we want to find our purpose through our work. Now, I think that this is also a very outdated way to look at purpose. I do believe that many people will find a sense of purpose through their work, and I do, but it's not just about my work, it's about my whole life. My personal and professional lives are aligned because it's just me. This is what I'm interested in. And so because I followed what I like, as in Leticia Ringe, am interested in, this then means that I'm actually able to serve other people because I'm simply sharing from my own experience and doing what lights me up, which means that other people are attracted to that and want to learn from me and work with me because I'm working within, my zone of genius, the area where I'm able to actually provide support. And instead of trying to look for a problem that I can solve, I'm simply just following what brings me joy, what's fascinating for me to explore more of. And this is why purpose in the way it shows up for everyone is different, because it is a combination of what our skills are, it's a combination of our experience in some instances, and a combination of what lights us up. So we find purpose through that. And if we go with what lights us up, and you'll find that's also usually depending on your personality, I think it's even more than your personality, but like the platform that works for you is something that energizes you rather than drains you, then this is how we start to live and show up for our purpose. So it's actually not as difficult as we think. All it requires is us to turn inwards and start to uncover the answers within ourselves. We're connecting to ourself, connecting to our heart, connecting to our inner voice, connecting to this feminine energy, being energy, and then using our beautiful masculine energy to take action and bring that out into the world. They're both equally as important for like living in alignment with our purpose. It's just that we need to turn inwards using our feminine energy first and foremost. Now, if you look at your human design as well, and I've spoken about this in an earlier episode all about human design, which I'll link in the show notes for this episode, we can also discover through using something like that how our purpose might be different to each other. So for instance, in your human design chart, there are, if you look at the profile number, there's a way to figure out whether in this lifetime and for want of another word or a better word, purpose is to either, it's your own personal growth that you need to focus on, or whether you are going to get a sense of purpose and happiness through serving others. And so that will be different for different people, the answer to that. So for some people, it is going to be our service. But I think that no matter how purpose shows up for you in your life, it's really simply about finding out who you are and being able to express that in a way that is authentic to you. And this is all about following what lights us up. And I do believe that no one needs to work in an area that they don't love. I do believe that if we are required to work and want to do work that lights us up, then that is something that is possible and is also a good thing for not only ourselves, but everybody around us. No one wants to interact with someone who hates their job and doesn't want to be there, and you're not going to do necessarily the best job if you don't enjoy it. So I think that yes, many of us will get a sense of purpose through our work, and I do think that is important. But when we think of purpose, we can't compartmentalize our life. It is a feeling. It is present moment focus. It's something we receive. It's something that we just are. This is who we are. We don't compartmentalize our life and be like, this is the purpose for, this is the way purpose is going to show up for me. We can't do that. We have to allow our heart to guide us. So purpose is something that's ever evolving. It's really about our own personal growth. I also believe it's about our own sense of creativity. It's how we co-create with the universe. What are we creating in this lifetime? But I see creativity anyway as much broader than what we might think creativity is. And this is something that we explore in Embrace Your Feminine Essence, my online course. So it's much, much, much more simpler than we think. But still, it's difficult because we aren't connected to our feminine energy. Many of us aren't connected to our intuition. We haven't looked inside. We've grown up our entire lives looking outside for our answers, which is why we need to learn how to look within again. And this is what Embrace Your Feminine Essence, my online course, this is the problem it is trying to solve. But I didn't create the course, for instance, to solve the problem. I created the course because I received the inspiration to do that. And it felt like a lot of fun. And I was interested in the topic. And so I followed that and I created it. Did it feel like it gave me a sense of purpose? Did it feel like I was living in alignment with my purpose? Yes. Does that mean that that is my purpose in life forever? No, because it's going to change and evolve. I'm going to receive other inspirations. I'm going to co-create other things with the universe, other projects like, now is the Make a Difference Soul Tribe and this 5-day Find Your Purpose Challenge. This podcast is a part of it. I don't know where I'm going next with it all. I don't know. I'm just following what feels fun to me right now. Okay, so action to take away from this episode, and I'm going to finish up soon, but I want to share one last thing with you all, so don't finish listening yet because this next part is really, really important. But the action to take away is to start connecting to yourself. So if you feel like you're too blocked, like in your mind, there's too much going on, start to create space in your mind so that you are able to connect with your heart or your gut, so that you're able to connect to your intuition. You can meditate, do things to connect you to the present moment, but to get you out of your head. And journaling is also a really helpful way to do that. So to clear everything from your mind, basically put it on paper, get it out of your head, but also to ask yourself the questions that will connect you to your intuition. So rather than answering from your head, answering from your heart and not censoring, seeing what comes up. It's amazing, the power of journaling. And there's a reason that almost every personal development guru talks about it. So, okay, if this is what purpose is, so we're simply trying to embody our truth, we're turning inwards, we're following what lights us up, we're following what feels good to us and allowing our emotions to guide our way, then why aren't more people showing up for their purpose? Well, this is the reason. Because purpose is something we receive and it's not something that we decide, often we will judge the purpose as not being good enough. This isn't good enough, it's not original enough or authentic. And authentic is actually something really interesting to look at because, again, authentic, the definition for that is all about originality. And originality is not, and about it being new. Originality is not what is important. I did a video on IGTV the other week about this, which I highly recommend you watch. If this is interesting to you, go and check it out. I'll link it in the show notes to this episode. But basically, my obsession throughout my life was about being different and about being original and unique. So I felt like anything that I did had to be never done before. But as I talk about in that video, nothing would ever be improved if we didn't try to work with the ideas that we already had. We make it new and we make it unique because it is us contributing to it. Our combination of skills, experience, and interests, our perspective is what makes it unique. So this obsession with needing to be original and authentic in the actual definition of the word is something that blocks us from showing up for our purpose. We also block ourselves from showing up for our purpose because of things like money. I'd love for you to ask yourself right here, what would you do if you won the lottery? Because many people can't answer that. We think money is our biggest block to showing up for our purpose, and yet we don't even know what we would do if we won the lottery. And that's a problem. Because these problems, and this is in inverted commas, these problems are just problems made up by the mind, because what purpose asks us to do, just like feminine energy, it's what creativity and intuition and exploring our feelings do. It asks us to give up control and to receive, and it asks us to sit with the uncertainty. So we're giving up this control. We relinquish control to gain control. This is one of the modules in Embrace Your Feminine Essence. This is one of life's great secrets. It's paradoxical thinking. We gain control when we relinquish control. So when we don't trust the inspiration that we're receiving, and this is a problem I have with many of my coaching clients, and actually it will be the problem that almost all of my clients and anyone listening to this right now will have, because we do know the answers. They are inside ourselves. I can't tell you what the answer is. You already know it. You just need to access it. And that's what, my process will take you through. But we then judge it and say that that's not good enough, or I don't have the money for that. I don't trust that the money is going to come through. I don't trust that I'm supported. I don't trust that it's going to give me enough money. I don't trust that it's original enough, creative enough, good enough. I need to find a problem that I can see with my mind that I need to solve rather than following our own inspiration in the moment. So what we do is go through a process of learning to hear, of learning to trust, and to start then taking action to support it, taking leaps of faith. So this is what Embrace Your Feminine Essence will take you through, the process of reconnecting with yourself, because I believe this is a really, really big process to uncovering our purpose. Now, what the Make a Difference Soul Tribe and the 5-Day Find Your Purpose Challenge is going to help you, it's going to help you, one, I'm going to ask you specific questions and give you tools to answer what is my purpose, to put you in the right direction to uncovering your purpose, and also to removing or becoming aware of your biggest blocks to showing up for your purpose. Because I do think that this is actually the bigger problem. We overthink it with the mind. It's actually in our hearts, and then we block ourselves with the mind again when it comes to showing up for it. So don't feel bad about that. Feel this is actually really positive, because it means that anyone who's listening to this right now, if you really have been feeling like you just will not be able to ever feel like you're living in alignment with your purpose, that you'd never be able to find work that you love, that it's just not going to happen for you, it will, and all you have to do is look within. It will happen. Okay, so next week I'm going to be talking you through what your zone of genius is, what that even means. And so this is something that's really helpful when it comes to purpose, because a big part of purpose is also the way we show up to work with it. And if we're working with a platform or in a way that it drains us, then we're not going to feel like we're living in alignment with our purpose. So I'll be explaining next week exactly what our zone of genius is, so that you know more about that. I invite you once again, if you are interested in finding and showing up for your purpose, and you want a community of people who are going to help you to learn, expand, and connect on this topic so that we can all show up into our full potential, I invite you to join the Make a Difference Soul Tribe. You can go to leticiaringe.com/make a difference to sign up there. It's all completely free. And I also invite you to join our 5-day Find Your Purpose Challenge. I'm so incredibly excited to be running this. This is a live 5-day free training to help you find and show up for your purpose. So whether you're looking for a career transition or more fulfillment in life generally, or you want to start your own successful, heart-centered, conscious, and purpose-driven business, this training is for you. Discovering and showing up for my purpose has allowed me to create a successful, growing, and heart-centered business that allows me to serve within my zone of genius, and most importantly, light up my soul. And now I'm going to be sharing with you some of the key tools I have used in my own life and with the incredible people I have worked with to find and show up for their purpose, so that they are making the difference they truly desire. You'll also get Q&A and coaching time with me to ask any questions on the training for that day, and there will be a challenge for you to participate in. And if you are the winner of that challenge, there are going to be 2 giveaway prizes. So I'm so excited to share that with you, one of which will be a 1-to-1 strategy session with me for showing up for your purpose, or whatever it is that you want to work with me on. And I will be revealing during the challenge what the other giveaway is. So if you would love to sign up for that, I invite you to head to leticiaringe.com, find your purpose challenge, and sign up there so I can send you all of the information, and you will be notified on what the trainings are and when they're happening. Okay, my beautiful friends, I hope you enjoyed this episode. This was really me just speaking in the moment about what purpose means to me today. It's always evolving. It's something that I love to keep thinking about and feeling into. And I'm always interested to hear your take on this because it is subjective. It is something that will mean something different for all of us. And yet it's something that we're all seeking: more meaning, more fulfillment, more purpose in our life. And purpose makes things easier for us because it gives us a sense of direction. It gives us something to work within. It gives us a framework. It gives us boundaries. And it might simply be through knowing what it feels like to live in alignment with our purpose. And if we haven't experienced purpose before, then that's going to make it more difficult because we don't have anything to compare it to. So come and join us in the Make a Difference Soul Tribe. We'll have your back, and join us with the 5-day Find Your Purpose Challenge. I cannot wait to see you all over there. If you know anyone else who would love to join us, please share this message. They will really thank you for it. And it's always about sharing is caring, and the more the merrier whenever I am involved. So I hope you have a beautiful week, and I cannot wait to see you next week for another episode to help you unlock your truth and purpose. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to the Create a Life That Is Beautiful podcast. If you feel called, I would love it if you could please take a minute to rate and review this podcast on iTunes. This helps other people like you find it, and I also invite you to take a moment to share this episode with a friend you know needs to hear it.